Okay, English 2 students, this is the second video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a Google document in MLA style format heading so that you can do your essential question writing assignment. So I understand that many of you are sophomores already. You probably already had Mrs. Lopez's class. She probably taught you how to do that. But we're just going to quickly review it or try to do it as fast as possible. But in any case, the first thing, I have a laptop here, so it's going to be different for you if you're doing it on your iPad. So I would open the Google Drive app and create my document there. So the first thing that I need to do here on my laptop is to create. I'm already in my Google Drive, by the way. So I'm going to go to Create and click on Document. Okay, so here I am. The first thing that I need to do is title my document first and foremost. Again, this is not the title of my essay question writing assignment. This is just the title of my document. I understand that I may have to give it to Mrs. Gonzalez. I may have to share it with her. She may have to see it. So I'm going to make it so that she knows who I am. So the first thing that I do, I'm going to pretend that I'm in period 3. I'm in English 2, period 3. So the first thing I need to do is put English 2, and that's the class that I'm taking with her. The next thing I'm going to put, it doesn't matter the order, but just as long as the information is there. So I'm going to say it's essential question 1, so EQ1. What else should I put on here? I'm going to put, obviously I have to put my name. Okay, so in this case, I'm probably just going to put the first initial of my first name, so I'm going to say M, period, Gonzalez, and then I'm going to put the period that I'm in. So PER 3. So there's the title of my document. So if I need to share with her, she can see who I am and what period I am. So now I have to put it in MLA style format. So the first thing in MLA style format, you're going to need this for college. Anything you need to write, you need to have it in this. Unless your teacher tells you something different, your professor. And there's other ways you can do it, but for most times it's MLA style format. So it's already, Google defaults to Arial 11-point font. That has to change. So we go to the font, it goes to Times New Roman, and it goes to 12-point font. So there's that. The next thing I need to do is put page numbers. So I go to Insert, which is up here, and page number is right here. And it gives you two options. It gives you top of page and bottom of page. So for MLA style format heading, it has to be top of page. And it gives you in a little shaded box, it gives you 1. But I need to click on the front of the 1 so I can put my name, because MLA style format, when you number your pages, it has to have your last name and the page number. So I'm going to click before the 1. There it is. And so I'm going to type my last name. I'm going to say Gonzalez space 1. So now if I have more than one page, it's going to go to Gonzalez 1, Gonzalez 2, Gonzalez 3, so forth. But there's only 2 paragraphs, so it'll only be Gonzalez 1 in this case. In MLA style format, your name goes first. So Maria Gonzalez, that's my name. Oh, I forgot to, something else. I need to go back here. You need to change the line spacing. It's double spaced. So Google Docs automatically defaults to 1.15. You need to go to double. So go to double. And now once there, you use double space. And you just return it, it goes double space automatically. Everything is double space. So in MLA style format, the next thing after your name goes the teacher's name. So amazingly enough, Ms. Gonzalez and I have the same name, so but I'm not going to put her full name. So you have to give her you have to give your teacher their title. So I'm going to put Mrs. Gonzalez. The next thing is the class and the period in this case, because there's more than one periods. So it's English 2, that's the class. Say period 3. We return, and so the last thing is an MLA style heading is the date. Now in MLA style format, it's just like for those of you in Spanish class, it's the date, so the number goes first. So today's the 11th September 2014, and that's no comma, no anything, number first, day number first, month, and then the year, and that's it for that part. The next thing is going to automatically go to there. The next thing is your title. Now, I know Mrs. Gonzalez, I can guarantee it, she likes snappy titles. But right now I'm not going to worry about that. And this is just my advice to you. I would just put a placeholder so that if I need to change it, so if I want to call it something else, I can. But for right now, I'm going to call it EQ number 1, colon, relevance of literature and heroism. Okay. And now what I need, since in MLA style format, titles are always centered, so I'm going to change the alignment and it goes to center. So now my title is centered. However, now I'm going to return and automatically begin centering because I changed the alignment. But now I need a flush left, so I'm going to click on left alignment up here. And now I start typing. Now in a regular essay, you would just indent and start typing. However, this is essay question prompt, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it like she did it. So I'm going to go 1, period, space, all caps, relevance of literature. Okay, now I can just begin giving my opinion, and that's fine. No, at least for this, no indent is needed. So the first thing that every paragraph needs a topic sentence. Now in an essay, the first paragraph that's where your controlling idea, or what is now called a thesis, begins. But in this case, only a paragraph. The thesis of a paragraph, if you're just writing a paragraph, is a topic sentence. So I'm going to have to give her my assumption, which is another way of saying your opinion. I got to just say what I believe. And I already had told you guys before that that's your, basically, you don't need to say, I think this because. There's no reason, because I know you think. There's no reason for that. So, and it also sounds like I'm apologizing or that I feel scared. So you just got to say it. Just like people say, you know, blondes have more fun. If that's what you believe, you say that. So you have to provide your assumption. So the question was, what is the role of literature in modern society? So I'm going to say that, I'm going to go on a way limb, because it says role. I'm gonna assume, my assumption is, after musing about it, musing about the question, I'm gonna say that I came to the conclusion that literature just doesn't have one role, it has more than one role. Now, me personally, I can disagree with that. Like, another person can look at it and say, no, that's not true. But just for myself, that's my opinion, that's my assumption, so that's what I believe, so that's my topic sentence, and I'm gonna prove it. So I'm gonna say literature has many roles in modern society. Okay. Because, and then I'm going to say whatever comes. I'm going to put ... but you would just go ahead and say why you believe that. You put the reason there. So I'm just going to put ... period, period. So then you would just that would be the sentence right there. I'm not going to defend that yet, because I want you to come to your own assumptions, and I'm from being a teacher, from experience, I know that sometimes when you tell students, you write something for them, they want to replicate it. That means that they want to copy you, and they want to tell you what they think you want to hear, because that's what you said, so they have the same opinion. So I'm not gonna write this for you. You got to figure it out. You got to make up your own assumption, your own opinion. But I will say that you need a reason, and that's your topic sentence. The next thing you would write, obviously, is you would give an explanation, maybe a short one. So, for instance, I would give what I think the first role is, and I would say one role that literature has in modern society is, and then I would say blah, 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 whatever it is. The next thing that would come, whether it's after that sentence, would be, one example would be, and I would give them an example of a piece of literature. But knowing that Mrs. Gonzalez, even though she is an English teacher, she's read a lot of books, a lot of literature, I can't count on the fact that she has read the book that I read, or the thing that I read or saw, or whatever it is that I'm talking about. So I might explain it. For instance, I'm going to assume maybe that Mrs. Gonzalez might not have read The Giver. So I might say, The Giver is a book by so-and-so, in this book, the main character does this. So I might just give one sentence short, just in case she hasn't read it, you know, to give her, and then they say, and then use that explanation to show how the character did whatever it is that you're saying. It taught me when I read The Giver. It taught me this because maybe the first role that I think of literature is in modern society is to teach people things, to teach them a lesson, or to teach them something about life or whatever. So I'll use The Giver as an example of that, if that's what that is. I'm just giving an example because I don't want to give anything away from The Giver or from my answer, so you guys can come up with it yourself. And if I think there's more than one role, after I'm done explaining that and giving my example, then I would say another role that literature has in modern society is blah, 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 again, and then I would give again my example for that. And it sounds very repetitive and boring, but just to answer the question, just give me what I want. It's like a holy trinity: opinion or assumption, because I want you guys to start using your assumption, your opinion, reasons for that assumption, opinion, and then evidence to support, supportive evidence for that opinion or that reason or whatever you want to call it. So people always ask me when there's something like this for essays, they always ask me, how many paragraphs? If they ask me I want to write a paragraph only, they'll say, how many sentences do I need? For this, a chunky paragraph. That means put details in it, know who your audience is. That's first and foremost. When you write anything, you don't write for yourself, you write it for an audience. You know that who's going to read is Mrs. Gonzalez. So you know she's an English teacher, so that means that you need to revise. And even me, I make mistakes all the time. I misspell, I do things wrong, I say, oh my gosh, I used the wrong there, but I figure it out. So you need to do the same thing. You can't just write something and just say, okay, you can read it now. You have to revise it. Ms. Gonzalez is an English teacher. She's got to see me at my best, so that means I can't have texting language. I can't have a little I for I. I have to have good spelling, good grammar. So I'm going to pretend like I already wrote my answer. So for something like this, just a guess on my part, I would say maybe 6 to 8 sentences, half a page. And so I'm going to say it's half a page already. Okay, so I already did my 1, and so now you go to 2. Actually, right there. 2, period, heroism. Or heroism, I should say, period. colon. So I'm going to say, again, I'm not going to say, I think for this one the question is, I ask you guys, it's a 2-pronged question. I ask you if heroes, first of all, I want you to consider, think about whether heroes still exist and if they're still relevant. Are they still necessary? So I'm going to, after having mused over the question, I come to the conclusion that for me, I'm going to say that, let me think, I'm going to say that not only they still exist, but they're more important than ever. So I'm not going to say I think that, because I already know, the teacher already knows that this is my opinion. So I'm going to say I think that. It's not necessary. So I'm going to say heroes do exist. Heroes still exist. In fact, honestly, in society. I might have to change that at some point. But for right now, I'm going to do it because I'm going to have to revise. But just for right now, to get my idea down, I'm going to say heroes still exist in society. In fact, because I could write 2 sentences and say answer both questions. But I'm going to wow her because she's an English teacher. So I'm going to say my answer. I'm going to answer both questions in 1 sentence using a complex compound sentence. So I'm going to say heroes still exist in society. In fact, semicolon, in fact, they are more relevant. They are more relevant than ever, period. So I just said it. Whether she believes me or not, I'm throwing it out there. Mrs. Gonzalez can disagree with me if she wants, but that's my opinion. That's my assumption. So I can't just leave it like that. Like I said before in the one prior, I can't leave that like that. I actually have to prove what I say. That's an assumption. Okay, prove it to me now. So for something like that, because you can go many ways with this. You can say heroes don't exist and they are not relevant. You can say they don't exist, but they're more necessary than ever. Or you can say the opposite, like you say, you can say, like I said before, you can say they don't exist and they're not, we don't need them anymore. So however it is that you say it, you need to think about how you're going to lay out your argument, your proof, to convince me that what you're saying is true, or try to convince me. Because it's not even though you're writing to me, you got to put what you think actually into it. So I might say something. I'm not going to go into it because, again, I don't want to give you ideas, and I don't want you to just write things that you think I want to hear. Because, again, I might not even believe this. I'm just doing it just pretending that I'm a student. But the next thing, if this was my topic sentence for my paragraph, the next thing that I would, first of all, what I would have to do to prove to her is I have to prove my first statement. I have to show her that heroes still exist in society. So I might say heroes still exist because, just as simple as that. Or if I really want to show this in my experience, because I'm telling her, I'm already giving her a hint. I'm giving her some foreshadowing. I'm giving her, clues about what's coming and going. In my experience, heroes still exist. I've seen the heroes in my life, or however it is that you're gonna say it. I might say something like that. One reason that they exist today is that I see that they're not only, that they exist because I see it in my mom, whoever it is that you see it in. But so I would tell why I feel that they still exist. I would give reasons for that, and I would give an example. I'm trying to get away from leading you guys. But I think that for the second one, so I might talk about that for half the paragraph, explain why that is. So blah, 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 the reason why I believe heroes still exist, and I'm going to give an example of how they exist. I wouldn't say that, now I have to explain the other thing. So in the same paragraph, maybe in the second half of the paragraph, like right here, I might say, I see heroes every day in my life, but more importantly, I see the more I live, or the more I look at the world, or the more I experience the world, I see that they're more necessary than ever. Because I didn't want to do this, but I can say, that they're more important than ever because, let me think, they show you the possibilities, your own potential. They show you the possibilities of what you can be. If you don't have a hero, then you don't have anything to aspire to. So I may see someone who I believe is someone admirable, someone that's worth admiring. I might say, oh, I want to be like that person. So in my second part of the paragraph, I might say, heroes are more important than ever because they teach people the possibilities of what they can become. Or I probably wouldn't say it like that, but that would be my idea. So now, again, I already said something. I have to prove it. So I'm going to say, again, for example, I admire this person, blah, blah. I really like them. But I know that the counter argument is, well, not everybody's perfect. I know that Miss going to say, well, not everybody is perfect. How do you know that person is worth admiring? I'm going to say that, well, I understand. Again, that's the counter argument. That's almost like a persuasive essay. Some of you know it as a persuasive essay, but it's in a paragraph. I'm anticipating the counter argument, which would be, not everybody's perfect or worth admiring. I would say, yeah, that's true. So I might say, even though I understand that some people have flaws, in other words, another flaws are like bad qualities. They have problems in themselves. They have issues. So I'm going to say flaws. I'm going to use her word. Flaws. What this person did, even though I know this person has flaws, and I may even go as far as to say, such as they may be like this. However, I know that this about them makes them worthy to be admired and aspire to $5 word. Oh, Miss Gonzalez is she's gonna love that. Oh, right there, that's right there. That's my 40 points just right there. I'm aspiring. It makes me want to aspire to be that way. It's so important and so. It's so important. It's so I don't know what you would say. It's so worthy of being admired that the flaw becomes less important, or however you want to say. Again, it has to be revised. So I would just probably write the idea down, even though it sounds really bad and repetitive. But I can go back and fix it. But at least I got my idea down. So now I've given her an example. I've given her my reasons for both ideas, for both assumptions. I've told her my reasons for it, and I've given her examples, and I've logically explained why it is that way. The only way that you could mess up on this and not get it right is if you say something like, let's say the literature one, the number one, if you would say literature, what did I say? There's one role in literature is the role of literature in modern one role of literature in modern society is um, to teach something, because if there was no literature, you wouldn't be able to. There would be nothing to learn. That's not true. I'm going to right away say that's not true. What do you mean by there's nothing to learn? There's always something to learn. You're confusing things. And maybe in your mind, it makes sense of your mind, but again, you're not writing for yourself. You're writing for me. I have to know what's going on in your head. So you have to clarify. You have to say exactly what you think. If you say that the role of literature is to teach you something, you have to tell me exactly how does it do that. You can't say, well, there would be nothing to learn. It's like, well, is that the only way you can learn it? So that starts another conversation. When you write, you have to make logical sense. So just remember this. Even I'm not expecting you to use all the time $5 words. I'm not expecting you to write like I write. I'm just showing you the thought processes in it, what I'm looking for. As long as you think about this, I'm not counting how many $5 words you will have. If you use only one, I'm not counting that. I just want you to make sense and to take the question when you address it, when you respond to it, take it seriously, and that you make logical sense and that I can understand where you're coming from. And I don't have to agree with you, and that's okay. I just want to know your assumption. I want to understand your opinion about things. So just remember this. All you have to remember is the Holy Trinity, like I said. You have an opinion. You have to have a valid, make sense, logical reason. And then you have to support that reason with some kind of an example, some kind of evidence, whether it be an evidence from your life, whether it's something on TV, a news, whatever it is, you have to show me that. One thing I also had to say before I close down this, and I should actually show you guys the format first so you guys can see how it looks there. But one thing I need to say is when you think about the role of literature, you need to. I'm not asking, when I mean literature, I'm not just talking about the books you read in the textbook, the short stories you read, the epic poems. I'm talking about anything you can read as literature. You can go if you just want to focus on books for entertainment that you read at school or whatever, your own books, you can focus on that. Or you can say, watching movies can be literature. That's a type of literature. It's just acted and performed with a camera. So you can look at literature as big as you want, or you can look at it small, but you have to answer that question. What is the role of literature in modern society? Okay. And look at its relevance. Is it still important? Should people, maybe you can even say, should people still be reading literature? And with heroism, you should answer whether there are still heroes today, even though in our world, with people's lives are so public, so we know all sides of them. So we just don't see the part that they want to show, but we see every aspect of them. We see, like for instance, Ray Rice. He's the running back for one of the best teams in the NFL, and the fact that he's a woman beater, and he beat up his fiance. And what if you really admire that player? How does that make? Is he still your hero? That's what I'm trying to say. In our society, are there still heroes? So that's what I want you to think about. Think deeply about stuff. And I don't care what you say, as long as you back it up, you're serious about it, you're academic, and it's appropriate. That means academic means $5 words, and make sure you're logical and you make sense, and you prove your point. I think I'm over talking, so I'm going to stop the video now. But I would say a page. If you really want something, I would say a page, half a page for each paragraph. Okay, guys, if you guys have any more questions, which I imagine you will, you can ask me tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys individually about it. But that's, as far as the MLA style format and how your answers should be put together, this is how it is. Again, MLA style format, times New Roman, page numbers. If you still need help, you can share your document. I'll check it to see if it's in the right format. Okay, make sure you title your document up here. Make sure you put your name and the period and blah, blah, blah. But in any case, I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.